am Susannah McLeod. My pronouns are she, her, and I am playing Reggie Flutie and many other characters in this ensemble piece of the Laramie Project.
Hi, I'm Jada Suzanne Dixon, she, her. I too am playing multiple characters in this beautiful ensemble piece.
Hi, my name is Kate Gleason. My pronouns are she, her, and I am the co-director of the Laramie Project.
Hi, I'm Rodney Lizcano. My pronouns are he, they, elle. I co-directed the show with Kate, and I'm also an acting company member. I play Moises Kaufman and many other characters as well.
I saw this piece when I was a junior in high school at a little theater in Pittsburgh. I was doing a summer theater program there at Carnegie Mellon, and we all went on a field trip to a company there and saw it, and I had never seen anything like it. I mean, the way the story is told is very unique, and at least for me at the time, it was the first time I'd seen kind of this documentary style theater, and I was blown away.
I had never seen the show, or I had heard about it, but I'd never seen a production of it. And honestly, the first time I read it was when I sent in an audition tape for the piece, and was very excited to do so. Yeah.
I remember this play from back in 2000, but I had never actually seen a full production. I'd seen clips of it, and I'd seen some pieces from people doing scenes from it. The first real live production of this that I saw was a student production at the Denver Center that our friend Tim McCracken and his students did. And I was so moved by it that I think I just left weeping and thinking, like, how is it possible that I have never actually seen this production live? But that was really my first live version of this play.
Yeah.
You were around from the very beginning.
I got to see it in concept form when Tectonic was actually compiling the show together when they were premiering it at the Denver Center. So I got to sit in on a rehearsal or two and see the process of them not just mounting the show, but piecing together the show into what we know as the moments of the play. So yeah, historically, I've known the show since its inception in '99, and then I got to see its full production in 2000. I said you got to chew on it because it's not a story that you think needs to be retold, and yet here we are, quarter century after Matthew Shepard's murder, and those stories are constantly being retold. And sometimes in other contexts. This one has to do with hate crimes towards queers, but we can replace Matthew's name with a George Floyd. We can replace Matthew's name with Sandy Hook, and those kinds of hate crimes still happen. The play ultimately is about the community, and so I kind of feel that retelling this story specifically will hopefully continue conversations about being different, about being other, how your household defines love, how your household defines hate, how your household defines compassion. Those are conversations for me that are still important to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I also think there's something about if we are unwilling, consciously or unconsciously, to look at our past as a way to carve out a better, stronger, more compassion-filled path in front of us, we'll never change. We will continue to repeat the past over and over and over. So I think the timing of this is perfect, as that it forces, I think, us as an ensemble, I think our hearts are already open. Otherwise, we wouldn't have said yes to the project, right? But I think it forces a different level of engagement from audiences that are coming to sort of live with us in it. And as you said, then to continue that conversation, beyond their moment here at the theater and explore sort of what does that look like in my household, right? And how do we have those conversations? And how do I stay leaned in when we disagree, when we're on opposite sides of something? Can I still learn something from you? Can I still take that and carry that with me as I, go on with additional interactions on a day-to-day basis?
I think this play does a really nice job of sort of showing both hate and love, and I think to sort of hold a mirror up to us as to just being a human being and living in the world today, and knowing that the world 25 years ago when this play was written is not that different. There's still a lot of hate, and there's still a lot of love. So I think I just try to let the parts of the love that we get to perform stay with me, and then I try to shed all of the hate. But I just feel like it's important for people to see and to hear this story, and so I'm proud to be a part of it.
Yeah, I think also, we keep on having this conversation about conversations, and I think that that's really important. I think that people are going to come to this production and will have wildly different opinions about what happened, or what happened to the community, or the community's reaction to this event. But just by having those different reactions, they'll be able to have a conversation with their family, with their children, with their friends at work. So I think it's still really important that this is not a history piece. We are still living this life today. We're still living in this love and hate, and more so than ever now. And I think it's just important that we keep having these conversations and talking about it and getting to the root of what it really means to really hate. And where does that come from?
I think it was really important for me not to do too much research into who the folks were, like just a general sense, because I felt like if I did too much, then I would get pulled in that way. That wouldn't allow me, maybe I assumed, allow me artistically to sort of explore who I think these characters were for me, and to come from a place of truth and authenticity and creativity, and to sort of utilize that as a way to sort of make them distinct, not to be caricatures, to still be truthful based on the words that were on the page and the sort of feel of this community. So I feel like that was a challenge, but also exciting, and some days scary as well.
I was very grateful that pretty early on we had a chance to talk with one of the original Tectonic members, Andy Paris, and we asked him specifically, like, how do you prep for you actually interview these people in person? How should we go about? And he basically said, like, don't worry too much about doing your version of that person, that they were very careful about choosing the words and kind of creating these characters so that people could put on their own interpretation of them. And there are a lot of helpful clues in the script that to kind of guide us, and yeah, taking the pressure off of having to do an exact impersonation was really nice to hear from him. I was like, well, if he says it's okay.
Yeah, I think that Rodney and I both were so interested not in caricatures, not in impersonations, but in finding the essential truth about what this person has to say. Not the essential truth about how they spend their day or go about their everyday life, but most importantly, what they're saying. And that's what we really wanted to explore, the essential truth about what their story is, And I think you guys have done it so beautifully, and it's been a joy to watch.
Yeah, it's to hone in and not replicate the person, because we don't know them. Some of them are no longer with us, right? There's no archival footage of them. We can go back into acting terms and say, what's the tone, what's the intentionality, and what are they trying to say in this moment, and try to extract that was ultimately the most important to kind of create this story. I mean, I had a little easier because we have a lot of footage on our friend Mr. Phelps, and so that I felt like I can slide in and out of easily. But I just have to honor what's on the page with the other characters that we don't know, and just tell their story.
Why do you say that Phelps was easy to come in and then get out of? He's one of the most hateful characters in the entire.
Well, because I know what he sounds like.
Yeah, right.
I know what he sounds like. I know how he moves. There's video footage of him.
Right.
all over for me to take a note of. I'm not trying to be like him. I'm trying to just take his gestures, because I do have firsthand knowledge of that.
Right.
The other characters I don't, and so we have to essentially create. But all again, elevate what that or what that person was trying to convey in that moment.
Right.
I do think there's also an interesting layer of like you were saying, not creating caricatures. I think there is, yes, we want to say these words, and we're all playing 8 to 12 people. So then there was also the conversation of, but how do you make them different? How do you make them specific? And so that was a really fun challenge, I think, to keep them honest and grounded, and, getting their little, whether it was one line or whatever as a certain character, getting that across, but keeping it, but making it different, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
An integral part of our vision in telling the story, the projections are another character, and it is the town of Laramie. We're able to be in locales and areas of the town that we talk about, and have that be and help support the play. You can do this play without projections. Let's be very honest. It can be just as powerful as music stands. But having the opportunity to play with these panels was just such a gift, and it was just really interesting to me. I'm a very visual person. And just to help elevate the story, we never want to distract the audience from what's being said, but rather have the projections help lift. We don't have projections in every single second of the play. It doesn't need to be that way, but we definitely want it to support the moments where it wanted it.
Yeah. And Rodney took the lead very much so on the choice of some of these images, and they're just spectacular. And we went through so many of them over months and months and months. But I think that we had a very clear idea from the very beginning that sort of it would complement the simplicity of this set, which is that it is this the feeling of this expansive sky and this expansive landscape, and what that kind of feels like when you're from that community. And also the distance, not just between, point A to point B, but between one person to another. And what does it mean to go away from each other? And how does it feel when you come together? And so all of these were conversations that we were having about the images that Rodney had found. But I do love, we also got some wonderful footage from the Matthew Shepard Foundation, news clips and real life moments of homecoming parades and vigils. And some of those moments I think are, for me, stand out to make me extremely emotional. But the fact that we actually have these from 1998 and they're still so incredibly powerful. Yeah.
I think this is how I've navigated this. I have such a great partner to guide me that really what I do on stage is simpler than doing the curating of the images, right? I felt in very good hands being directed. I don't think that was the challenge. I think the challenge for me was stamina. The challenge for me was focus, and also allowing myself the brain space and the heart space, because we've lived with this story for so long. We've rehearsed it for 5 or 6 weeks, but we've been talking and planning this, and really ruminating on the how and the why. And just giving myself enough brain space and heart space to continue and not be overwhelmed. And I don't think I ever felt overwhelmed except with emotion, with how we're seeing our audiences receive this play. Would I do it again? It would have to depend on the piece. I think this piece calls for a lot of brain power. And I was happy to split that. Mm-hmm. I would say if anyone who has already seen this production, if you enjoyed the production and have felt so inclined to share it with your communities, with your families, with people that you work with that might benefit from a story about unconditional love, please come see the Laramie Project.